Welcome to OrbitX AI Essential podcast series. Today, we are doing a special episode. I'll tell you why we are doing a special episode because for the last couple of weeks, we have been going ups and downs with the disaster we all faced, and some are still recovering. So, as a company, we decided what we can offer for you. So the best thing that we can do on behalf of OrbitX Business Consultancy as a company who helps SMEs and startups to leverage their businesses is to create something in this video platform and share with you, and so that you can look through it, understand, learn, and start earning of something of your own. When we decided to go ahead with this strategy, we understood that AI chat agents is something that is booming in Sri Lanka. A lot of companies who are into AI have now leveraged their operations in creating WhatsApp chat agents for companies. Now, this is your opportunity to look to this episode, watch it very carefully, understand the concepts behind it, understand how we create the chat agent, and to start something of your own. We all know we all are in a traumatic situation, recovering after the disaster that we all faced. But I would kindly suggest to all of our viewers to closely watch through this episode. And if you don't understand in the first try, give it a second try and try to create something of your own. And as OrbitX Business Consultancy, we are happy to help you in the places you get stuck. To our special episode, I would like to cordially invite Sanjay, who has been continuing the journey with us in helping SMEs and startups to develop AI solutions. Sanjay, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Rajit. Thanks for having me on the show. Am I audible by any chance?
Yes.
Got it. Got it. So great seeing all of you. And as Rajit mentioned, we are going through a bit of a tough time. And then our prayers and our sympathies are with the people who have lost their loved ones and their belongings and their places. So, in whichever way that we can help out, this is going to be a really good revenue generating activity, especially for small businesses, because ideally put, there are over millions of small businesses out there. And when it comes to customer interaction, there is so much so that the staff can do. There is so much so that a business owner can do. You might be getting multiple inquiries. You might be getting multiple questions from customers. And if a customer reaches out to you and you don't respond back, chances are likely that they will go to a competitor, which means that's going to be something which business owners don't really want, especially in dire times like this. So in this case, you might be thinking, how exactly can AI be part of the mix? And given the fact that WhatsApp, especially in the landscape of Sri Lanka, uh, WhatsApp is being used extensively. So there's business, there's WhatsApp, and there's AI. How do you map all three of them together? So this is what we're going to leave with you guys for the next two episodes. Rajat, am I right?
Yes, Sanjay.
Okay. So that's what it is. And then we're going to come up with a simple workflow to start with. Going to break it down into two parts. And without further ado, can we kick off, Rajat, if that's all right?
Yes, Sanjay. Yes, please go ahead with starting the workflow.
Got it. All right. So let me just break this down and start sharing the screen.
Sanjay, prior while you're sharing the screen, just
Yep.
can you let us know, our viewers, what are the platforms we are going to use it for the technical side of AI? And you mentioned we are going to use through WhatsApp as the communication
Right.
platform. What would
Yep.
be the pre-requirements that our users need to have?
So in terms of the pre-requirements, now, as I mentioned, there's AI, there's there's WhatsApp, and then there is a business as well. So in this case, in order to get the workflow done, we did demo a couple of other workflows before using this particular platform called NA10. So NA10 is a platform where you can design workflows from simple lead gen forms to complex AI review generators to WhatsApp agents to whatnot. So what's going to happen here is, uh, we are going to build a WhatsApp business agent for OrbitX. So it seems like Rajit is having his plate full by Rajit and the team are having their plate full by talking to multiple businesses. And at the same time, in times like this, all of us need a business consultant to see, okay, how exactly, what is our plan of action? What is our disaster recovery plan or whatever that you want to seek? And especially in times like this, Rajit might be getting multiple inquiries. And Rajit is always on WhatsApp, but it doesn't mean that he can respond to 10 or 15 different messages that's coming in a given period of time. So what we're going to do is we are going to build a WhatsApp agent for Rajit and OrbitX. And for that matter, we are going to be using a couple of platforms. So in order to understand better, let's dive deep. Have I answered your question right by
Yes,
telling you the
yes, yes,
technology it is?
Sanjay. Yeah. So our viewers, you need to have N18 platform subscribe prior to this. So
Yep,
once you have the subscription, you can go ahead building the WhatsApp page.
got
Thank
it.
you, Sanjay, for that clarification.
Yep. And the beautiful thing about N8N is you can either pay subscriptions to start with. It's 25 euros, I reckon. But if it's expensive, N8 can also be hosted on the cloud for free. So that is not something that we are going to cover how exactly to get N8N free. That will be part of our future workshops or whatnot.
Yeah.
So I am going to be discussing and telling you more about the workflow from the point of building the agent. So what's going to happen here is, let me just open this up. This is a form trigger. A form trigger is where everything starts. So let's say we are going to be building a business WhatsApp agent. So you just create a form trigger, and then we are going to include the website. So you might be thinking, okay, how exactly do I give information to the workflow? Well, the best place is the website. So you create a field called website, and then the type is text. If you want, you can leave a placeholder. Let's say www.businesswebsite.com. This is just a placeholder. This is not the final one. And then you can choose how exactly does the workflow start. So I'm going to say when the form is submitted, and that's what it is. So let's just see what it is. All right. So now you see business WhatsApp agent. Can you see, Rajit, the pop-up, or how is it?
Yes, yes, I can see the pop-up. Yeah.
You can see the business WhatsApp agent. All right. So what I'm going to do is I had the OrbitX thing over here. I'm just going to, what's that? Just do this and submit it. All right. So the response has been recorded. Now what's going to happen is after we share the business website, there is a community node called Firecrawl. So Firecrawl can be accessed through this link. I don't think that is visible. Let me just share the entire screen. I think that's more like it. Got it. I think now you can see this, correct?
Yeah.
Correct. So Firecrawl
Yes.
is a beautiful node to have, beautiful technology. Beautiful product to have. Of course, there are various other platforms as well in order to scrape websites. There's Epify, but Epify starts their subscription at $40 an hour. Sorry, $40 a month. And when everything stacks up, you might be thinking, okay, it's better not to have a WhatsApp agent. So in this case, uh, things like Firecrawl comes pretty easy, and you just need to sign up, and the platform stands for itself, and then you just go to the dashboard. And what you're going to do is you need to come up with a new credential. So you come up with a Firecrawl account, and what I've done here is this is the link. So once you are viewing this, you can just copy paste this link. This is the base URL. What you mean by the base URL is we are creating a link on an A10 which will talk to Firecrawl. And the purpose of having Firecrawl is to scrape the website. Scrape the website in a safe way, scrape the website in such a way that you do it in a cost-friendly, safe manner. And in order to get the API key, what you need to do is, Rajit, please stop me if you think this is getting a bit too over technical. I'm more than happy
No,
to
no.
get it done. All right. So what you do is you go under API keys, you just sign it up. You can sign up via Google, you can sign up via email, whichever it is. And then what you're going to do is you're going to create something. So I'll say create.
Sanjay, if I stop you there, what's an API key? Can you give a small introduction to that as
Okay.
well?
So for those who want to know more about API keys, imagine something like this. In a very layman's term, you are an outsider. So there's Rajit's house. Rajit has his door locked. And let's imagine, no, let's use the figure of the example of a vehicle. I want to go from Colombo to Gampaha. I don't have a vehicle. All right. But Rajit has a vehicle. And I know that Rajit has a vehicle, but I don't want to get an Uber or something else. What I want is, okay, Rajit is my friend. I say, hey, Rajit, can you let me use your car to go from Colombo to Gampaha? But in order to start the car, there has to be a key. It's Rajit's car. I'm the person who's going to use it. How can I get from Colombo to Gampaha? I can take the car. But in order to start the car, there has to be a key. In the same way, imagine there are multiple nodes or multiple softwares which are there. In order to get your entire thing done, sometimes there is no one software. There are multiple softwares. So just like I can go from Colombo to Gampaha, in order to scrape the website, N8N does not have the ability to scrape websites on its own. But what N8N has is N8N is a friend with something named Firecrawl. Because when you type here, let me show that to you. Because this is an entire workflow that we have. When I type here, let's say, see, there's Firecrawl there. So let's say for the ease of layman language, Firecrawl is a friend that N8N has. So it's like I have friend in Rajit, but just because I'm friends with Rajit doesn't mean that I can drive the car. Rajit's car needs to have a key. So that key is the API key. Is that clear enough, or was that
Clear.
example?
Yeah.
Is it
Makes
clear
sense.
enough? All right.
Yeah, it makes
So
sense. Yeah.
there's a lot of technicality to it, but right now there are various other forms of integration mannerisms that are popping up called model context protocol. Where it's a bit technical. Let's reserve that for a future workshop.
Let's reserve that for the
All right,
future.
but
Yes.
how different technologies orchestrate together is through the beautiful use of API. All right,
APIs.
got
Understood.
it. So what we do is we go to iCrawl and then we create an API. Let's imagine whatever it is. Let's say WhatsApp chat agent or whatever, and then we put the API key here, and then we've connected Firecrawl with N8N. All right. And then what we're going to do here is we are going to map a website and get the URLs. Now, if you go to the OrbitX website, you would see that, okay, there is Rajit's profile. He looks pretty dashing. And then there is the different pages as well. There is the about us, there's the home. So there's AI as well. All right. So you might be thinking, how exactly can we scrape multiple websites? So what we are going to do is we are going to map the website and get the URLs. Okay. And then we are going to also include the sitemap, because at the end of the day, if a website has now, Rajit's website has multiple pages, and all those pages are mentioned in one place, which is called the sitemap. So we are going to include the sitemap as well, because sitemap is the one which is going to help us to have all the URLs in one place. Got it? And
Got
then
it,
what we're
Sanjay.
going to
So
do is,
what is actually it happens is through N18 we are going to use another API key to get all the informations that is available in my website in multiple pages to one point, right?
yes and no. We are going
Hmm.
to use Firecrawl to
Hmm.
scrape the website. And how we are going to
Okay.
connect Firecrawl to N8N is with the use of API key. So imagine, Rajit,
API keys.
Firecrawl is you, N8N is
Hmm.
me.
Hmm.
All right.
Hmm.
Just because N8N and Firecrawl are friends, it doesn't mean that Firecrawl can function. For Firecrawl to
Hmm.
work, or for Sanjay to use Rajit's car, there has to be a key to the car.
Understood.
Got it?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it's getting slightly technical, but if you watch it at a very slow pace and listen to us in a very careful manner, you would be
Yeah.
able to understand what it is. All right.
Yes.
And then what we're
Yes.
going to do is, now, do you see, Rajit? I have run the workflow. Do you see these multiple pages that we have? We have the
Yeah.
consultant, we have the author page and whatnot. All right. So what we are doing here is we are splitting the URLs. So there are
Hmm.
multiple URLs because I mentioned we are also extracting the sitemap, and from the sitemap, we are splitting the URLs into multiples, and there are all together. Rajit has done a pretty good exercise with the website because there are 86 comprehensive URLs. Okay. And then the WhatsApp agent that we are developing, it needs to have the knowledge of all these because
Hmm.
Rajit doesn't have the time in the world to sit and instruct an agent. But what he has done is he has created a website. So we are going to get the website and give the knowledge to the agent. And in order to do that, we need to get each and every URL. Are we good to proceed to the next node?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Makes sense, Sanjay.
Right. So in N8N, each of these are called nodes. All right. Now, once all the URLs are extracted, it doesn't mean that the agent will understand this. That's not how it's going to happen. It's just like this. You get chunks and chunks of data and you dump it. Garbage in, garbage out. Just because you dump the data, it doesn't mean that it's qualitative and that anyone can understand it. It has to be put through a large language model in order to better understand the context of it. Got it? So just
Yeah.
because, like, please understand this very carefully. Just because you scrape a website, it doesn't mean that an agent can understand. You can't expect a baby uh, to eat rice from day one, right?
Yeah.
They will go through a phase. First, they will have the mother's milk, and then they'll probably have liquidified solids or whatever it is. And then there is a process. So, just like this, you can't just take all the 67 or the 88 URLs and say, hey, become the agent, or here is the knowledge base. So, what we are going to do is we are just going to take the textual content from the website because,
Hmm.
Rajat, when we are scraping
Yeah.
the website, even the images get dragged in
Okay.
through
Scraping.
Firecrawl.
Okay.
Got it? But
Hmm.
when we let the data run through a large language model, especially when there are images, then the token sizes, when you say token
Hmm.
sizes, imagine it's like this. A large language model can process information. If it
Hmm.
is textual information, it can process it quite easily. But
Hmm.
if it is an image is the collection of small pieces of text or small pieces of there's a technicality behind it, but let's imagine it's a collection of large text items or data items for that matter, not text item, but rather data items. So what you're going to do is we are going to take out the images. So that is why we have added a filter here. We are going to exclude the media. We are going to take out any uploads. Probably I saw a couple of Sri Lankan flags were there, this background
Yeah.
image, whatnot. Because in my eyes, even though these images are there, if we let an LLM run through this, that's just gonna be an overkill. As in, like, it's
Hmm.
just gonna process the images, and it's just going to give the same information as much as the text. So why are we wasting our efforts on processing images? So in
Hmm.
reason of that, we have excluded the media. Is it clear enough?
Yeah, understood, Sanjay.
Correct. And then what we are going to do is we are going to scrape a URL and get the content. So we mapped the URLs here. We've split the URLs, and from those URLs, what we have done is we have filtered out, because if you go to this particular page, now let's say we go to blogs, it's just example. This particular page has already been extracted. So if you look at this particular workflow, right now what's happened is it has mapped this particular page, and then it has taken all the URLs. It has started excluding these media. Now this particular image won't be put through an LLM. All right.
Hmm.
And then it has gone into the lens of, okay, now what's remaining is in this particular page is the only the content. Got it?
Understood, Sanjay.
Okay. So then you scrape the URL, and you see here the sitemap. It's mainly because it's the hub of all the URLs, and you get it in markdown format. Now you might be asking, okay, what is markdown? Markdown is a very easy format that workflows understand. That's good enough. There
Hmm.
is a huge, again, a reason and explanation behind it, but now is not the time for that. But just imagine, or just let's just assume that markdown is a format that is easy for LLMs to understand. Okay,
Hmm.
it is without all these formatting, it's all without all these paragraph breaks, it's all without these point forms and whatnot. It's one of the most easiest formats for an LLM to say, okay, here's the content, go for it. Understood?
Yeah. Yeah.
Have I or have we lost the audience in whatever way, or is it good enough?
No, no, no. It's good enough to proceed.
Okay, all right.
Thank you for that
So,
clear explanations on each and every
correct.
technical term.
So what we are doing here is then we are filtering again. You're doing some multiple filtering because still there can be chances. Okay, what are we trying to do? And once the content is there, we because now you see, because on a NA10, on the left is the input that you have, on the right is the output. So if you take this particular node, the scrape URL, on left is what the scrape URL for Firecrawl is getting in order to input. And then do you see this markdown thing over here?
Yeah.
That is the output that scrape URL is gonna input the filter error. All right. Because that's just a fallback that we have added just in case the scrape URL fails to scrape the content. This is used as a fallback. Okay. But in this case, it hasn't happened. It's just moving on to the next step. All right. Because you see here arrow chart visual, you have the org title and whatnot. Okay. And then what's going to happen is we are going to collate all this information. So now what we have done is we have looked at the website. We have mapped all the 87 links, not scraped, all right. We have mapped all the 87 or whatever links. And then what have we done? We have splitted the URLs, 87, and then it has gone into the area where we are going to exclude the media. Why are we excluding the media? Because we are dealing with a large language model, and large language models has to process this information. And why do we need to include images when there is text? And that is the reason why we've excluded the media. And then after excluding the media, we have let these URLs that we mapped in order to get scraped. And then we've added a fallback to say, hey, if the scraping doesn't happen, this is the fallback. But in this case, it has successfully scraped it. And then what's going to happen is you have chunks and buckets and loads of information. And then now we are going to collect each and everything. Okay, imagine it's like a box of puzzles. When you open it, it's each and everywhere. So now we are collecting the puzzles one by one. We are trying to form the final picture. Rajit, you have been weirdly quiet.
Yeah,
You
I'm
get it?
getting through all this information.
Okay.
Makes sense. Yeah,
Yeah. We don't need to go into this length of understanding, okay, how to come up with a WhatsApp agent. It's just that it's good to know what's under the hood
exactly.
already. Because once we lay out and once we roll out the workshops, each and every person will be building their own little WhatsApp agents. And
Yeah.
this hand holding process is going to be much, much slower than these 30 minutes. All right.
Yes. Yes.
And then once done, we have the final scraped content. Okay. And it's much more than this, but rather what we're going to do is the scraped website result, we are going to let it run to a prompt that I have created. Rajit, remember we did a separate episode on prompt engineering. So this is a
Prompt
detailed
engineering.
prompt. And remember I mentioned of a ROCC role.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was role. Can't remember. Oh, what was role? Sorry, role, organization, context, and constraints. All right. All right. So what we've given is you're an information architect and a technical writer. So what it's gonna do is it's gonna get all this. Imagine it's a report writer or a article writer.
Yeah.
So what you mean by a business KB is the business knowledge base. But in order to create a knowledge base, imagine it's just like this. When you visit a library, Rajit, everything is super organized.
Hmm.
There are books in ascending order. There are books in the order of authors. It's categorized.
Yeah.
It's just
Hmm.
beautiful. Just like that, if you visit our own home library, is it categorized? I don't think so. We just chuck in the
No.
books
Hmm.
whenever it is. So the better place to organize the knowledge is ideally in this particular way. So through this prompt, what we are trying to do is all that information which has been scraped, all that information which has been put down into markdown format, this is, imagine it's a report writer or a technical writer. Or in my eyes, I'd like to call it an information architect. It's going to take
Hmm.
all that information and it's going to organize it in such a beautiful way that the agent finds it very easy to extract the information in an order.
Hmm.
Hence the reason why this prompt is pretty, pretty, pretty long. All right. So I'm not going into the depth of explaining how each and every line works. Now you might be thinking, wow, did he type all this? No, I did not. I started using, not started using, I used AI, of course, and there are a few other tools in order to get it done. But once you get the hang of it, it's pretty easy. It's just the first or the second time it's going to be kind of difficult in order to come up with this. All right. But this is, imagine it's a librarian. Okay. You either have an experienced 20-year-old librarian or you give the library the control to maybe a second or a third grader. Who would succeed, Rajit? Would it be the 20-year-old, sorry, not 20-year-old, the one with the
Yeah.
20 years of experience or the third grader?
20-year experience.
Exactly. So this is what it is. And then this content, after letting that information run through, we've got the business knowledge base. And what it has done is after we get the knowledge base, we let it run through Gemini. And what happens in Gemini, we will discuss in the next episode.
Thank you, Sanjay. Thank you, taking your time to explain all these things and in a very layman language where every one of us can understand. So we have reached our standard time of 30 minutes to this episode, and I urge all our viewers who has viewed this far to watch the episode number 2. This is special episode series of 2 episodes that is designed for you. This is for helping you to make money out of AI. So thank you again, Sanjay, taking your time and effort specifically in these rush days, creating this workflow and sharing this knowledge.